It is week 8 of the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, the last full week of the challenge. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. So with the last full week of the challenge in the bag and just a few days left to go, I am reflecting on different things I did during this challenge, things I want to change, things that worked well for me, and things that need a little tune-up. So for tonight's dinner, I'm gonna do a quick curry chicken over rice. I have some potatoes here. I have some chicken, it's on the bone. I have my last 2 onions from last year's garden. That's sad. My spices, I got some peppers. I'm gonna put some, not typically in curry chicken and rice, but I'm gonna put this anyway because I have quite a bit of that and I want to try and use some up. And that's celery or Swiss chard. I have some carrots, and of course I have some rice. So in my saucepan here, I have some butter, about 2 tablespoons, some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons, and then the jelly you see is actually off the chicken. I pulled as much as I could out of there just to add some flavorings at the very beginning, and I'm gonna melt this down, and then I'm gonna add my spices in there just to wake them up. My curry, I'm adding in a bay leaf, and whatever other spices I'm going to add in to make the curry chicken and rice sauce. And then eventually I will add my onions and my other veggies in here and get them cooking through as well. So this was a tip from a friend years ago to do my spices first because I never used to do it this way. But ever since then, I've never changed. And I'm just going to add my onions into my sauce that I have kind of fried, so to speak, just waking up those aromatics. So I usually use coconut milk to thicken this up, but because I don't have any, I'm going to use this coconut oil to get the flavor, and I'm going to use my dry milk powder with my liquid off of my different veggies or whatever that I got out of the fridge, and the liquid off of these 2 veggies. So since I don't have any fresh peppers, I just have a jar of canned peppers I put in. These were just pickled the regular brine, and then I'm going to put in that celery or Swiss chard and get that in. And I will say I do simmer this for about 10 minutes or so just to marry those flavors together and make sure everything is actually incorporated. In goes my carrots, and I will also put in my potatoes at this time. Even though everything is cooked, I just want everything to marinate in that curry flavoring before I put in my chicken. So in goes my washed and drained potatoes, and then I'm just gonna let this marinate for a little bit before I add in my milk. Well, coconut milk. I already added in my coconut oil, so I'm just setting my milk in for a thickener. So once I had that simmering for about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, maybe not even that long, just to warm things up, I put my chicken in and that leftover juice from a previous veg, and I'm just gonna let this marinate together. And just leave it long enough so that the chicken warms up and everything is ready to eat, because everything at this point is already cooked and I'm just warming it through. So I didn't use all the liquids of my veg, so what I'm going to do is put it in my container and I'm going to put it in the fridge to use another time. So here is the curry chicken and rice. Sometimes I serve it with another side of veg. Sometimes I serve it with a fat bread or a naan bread. And if anybody wants bread tonight, I do have some sandwich loaf left here. They can butter that up and use that if they want. But if not, this is what tonight's dinner is. So this night for dinner, I felt like tomato soup and grilled cheese, and that's just what I made. I had roasted some tomatoes and basil, onions, and different things from the garden, and I put them in my blender, blended them up, and canned them, and this is what I used as a base for my tomato soup. And I just added other things, and I did add some of that strained tomatoes that you see me used in the past. It is that time of week again. I've got out the flour. I have my bread going in my bread machine. That's for my regular sandwich loaves. And over here, because the family wanted pizza, I'm going to try a new recipe. Now I have This is whole wheat flour. I only use that to feed my sourdough starter. But because I haven't been doing that lately, I'll show you what my sourdough starter looks like. So this is my 2 sourdough starters, and as you can see, they desperately need to be fed. What I do is I keep them in the fridge, and when I go to bake with them, like the day or 2 before, I would feed them. If you hear my bread maker in the back, please excuse that. And that's what I do, and I will use just this flour in one of them, and then all-purpose flour in the other. All-purpose flour in this, and I actually mix this now. All-purpose and that whole wheat flour is what's in that container. So yeah, I desperately need to feed these, but I don't want to deal with that waste. It just seems wasteful to me. So that's why I stick it in the fridge, and when I'm ready to use it, I'll go ahead and use it. And you can see where it has expended, where it was, and where it rose to, and then it went back down. So it was quite active when I was feeding it, so I have no problems with that if I put it in the fridge for a month or more and just pull it out when I need it. I have sugar, I have some oil, I have some whole wheat flour. This is an all-purpose flour. I have some honey, some yeast, some salt, and some onion and garlic spices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the flatbread recipe that I copied it down from Ashley from over on Martin Midlife Misadventures. I'm going to do that, but instead I'm going to use a little bit of sugar, but instead of all that sugar, I'm going to add in some garlic and onion powder, because I want to turn these into a crust for pizza. We wanted pizza for dinner tonight, and I don't feel like going through all that. I have to feed my sourdough. That's what I usually use my sourdough discard, and I usually use it the day after I make the pizza crust. So since I don't have time for that, hopefully these will work out for that, and I'm gonna go and get started with this. Okay, so I have my 2 cups of flour in. This is the whole wheat flour and an all-purpose flour, and I just want to like mix them together to kind of get them incorporated first before I start anything else. So I've got my 2 flours distributed throughout. I'm actually going to add in my onion powder and garlic powder and get that incorporated as well. Just make sure it's already thoroughly mixed through before I start adding in my yeast and liquid ingredients. Okay, now that I have my dry ingredients mostly incorporated, I have my salt here, and she put it around the sides. See if I can do this without getting it in the middle. And then I'm going to put my yeast in the center. Remember, I'm using honey instead of the sugar. So my yeast goes down in the center, and then I have my warm water here, and this has honey in it. That's why it looks like that. So I mix my honey in here, and I'm gonna put it right down on my yeast. Hopefully I made this well big enough. And I'm going to let this sit, and so I'm gonna let this sit and proof for 5 minutes, and I'm just gonna put the top on it so nothing gets spilt or anything like that in my crazy household. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes. I did cover it with the towel. It's so cold here. Today and yesterday are the first days that it has been double digits. On Monday we woke up to -1 for a high. So my kitchen's normally cold, but it's exceptionally cold this week. So I covered it with the towel and of course the top. So let's see how it's doing. Let's see. It's been about 5 minutes. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it is bubbly. So I'm gonna start mixing this, and I'm gonna use this whisk, because I kind of don't want to get my hands in this, even though she did, but we'll see what goes. So I'm just gonna mix it, and I love the smell of the onion and the garlic already, so I can tell these are gonna be good. Hopefully they turn out good, so we'll see. So I've gotten this far, and I've got 1 tablespoon of oil in there. I'm gonna add my second one. And then I'm gonna get my hand in, because I don't think this is going to come together otherwise. So I'm just going to mix this around, and then I'm going to put my hand in it, even though I didn't want to. I should have probably, I wonder if I could do this in the mixer. Maybe. Okay, so get this. I've washed my hands, so they're nice and clean. And we're gonna get mixing. I'm just gonna mix this together. Okay, so I had kneaded this about 3 minutes, and I'm going to flip it over and cover it and let it double in size. Now, I don't think I'm gonna add any oil to my bowl because it is quite slick, so I'm just gonna just leave it like this, and I'm going to put the top on it, and I am gonna cover it with my tea towel once again and let it double in size. And not sure how long it's gonna take. I'm gonna put it in the oven with the light on because my kitchen is cold. Probably about 30 minutes. Okay, so this took a full hour, but it has doubled in size. So I'm gonna turn it out on this clean countertop that I just wiped down. I'm gonna put a little bit of flour down. Not sure that I need it, and I did wash my hands. Probably won't need it. I mean, should be okay. I don't think I'm gonna need it. I don't think I'm gonna need the flour. So I just leave it to the side just in case. And I'm just gonna knead this for a couple of minutes. Not even that. It did stick a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it did stick a little bit. So maybe I should have oiled it. Not too bad, but get all of it out of there. And I'm just gonna knead it a little bit, probably about, I don't know, 30 turns or so. And as you can see, it's nice and smooth on the top. So I'm going to cut it in 8. She cut it in. Trying to make them kind of even. Alright, so I might have to do this because it is sticking a little bit once I got on the inside. So just a little bit of flour I'm going to put in, and I'm going to do, she kind of folded it over itself, and I'm going to fold it over a couple of times, kind of like I'm making rolls. That's what I'm doing. And then just shape them to a bowl. And then I'm going to put them into my bowl here. Oh, she flattened them down a little bit, so let's do that. I'm trying to remember everything she did. So she flattened them out a little bit. I guess that helps with rolling. So I'm going to get the rest of these done and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got them all rolled out, and I'm going to let them sit while I get my frying pan ready to go. So this is the first one I did. I actually just put some butter on it, and I've been eating it. And it tastes delicious, number one. She is not cool, and I'm sorry, chewing and talking. Nope, not a good combination. While the taste is there, definitely. I will say I didn't roll this one out enough. It should have been a lot thinner. I should have waited. And it's kind of thick, so it's not good for a pizza crust. And otherwise than that, it's great. Almost just eating it plain like this. It was really good. Definitely gonna try to roll the other ones out then. Okay, so I'm rolling it out here. When I first started rolling it out, it was springing back a lot. So I just let it rest for another 5 minutes or so, and now it's not doing that, which is great. So just rolling it out, and then I'm gonna put it in my frying pan. It is on a medium heat, and I'm just gonna lay this right in here. And I didn't oil this or anything like that. And I'm gonna not cook it as long as she did, because I want to use these for pizza crusts, and they're gonna cook even longer when I put them in the oven. But as you can see, it's bubbling up, which is nice, and I'm just gonna flip it. So I checked it. It is a little brown on the other side, so I am going to flip this. Usually I would do this by hand, but I've been told to stop doing that, so I'm stopping. So here it is. This is about as brown as I want it right now, because like I said, I'm going to use them for pizza crust. So I'm going to do this other side and get the rest of them going. And just to show you what the other side looks like, and I'm going to take it off.
And here they are, all fried up and ready to use. Got that one a little bit brown, but that's okay. And I did make a pizza. I have just enough to make pizzas tonight, but I did make a pizza because I wanted to show you what they look like, because dinner is not for another few hours, and I wanted to get this up. Looks nice. I'm gonna try it. I've been cooling a little bit. I just did cheese. There's a bit of basil from the garden there on the top, and I'm gonna taste this, see how it is. Oh my goodness, I might not make pizza crust any other way. Wow. Thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing this recipe.
This is something I will definitely be remaking again and again. And I'm going to go off and enjoy the rest of my lunch. So as I was frying these up, I was thinking of other ways I could use and incorporate these flatbreads. And one way I was thinking about, I made curry chicken and rice earlier in the week. And this would be a great complement to that. Curry chicken and rice with these flatbreads with like some butter or maybe some garlic butter or maybe some onion butter spread on top. Sounds really delicious. So here is my sandwich bread out of the oven. I'm just rubbing some butter on the top of it because we love our butter around here. And I'm just going to let it cool and hope and tell everyone not to cut it before it's cooled at least an hour. Because if not, it can get a little gummy. So hopefully, cross my fingers, nobody will cut it before at least an hour. So here is one of the soups I did, and I basically just took a broth as a base, added some rice, some herbs, some veggies, and some beans. This was actually a meatless dinner, and I served it with a homemade roll on the side. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. God bless, and remember, stay safe and keep prepping.